Horrible. Yep. Okay. So we're live. Hi, everybody. This is Colin. We thought we were live 4 minutes ago, but we weren't. Ha! Surprise to us. So anyway, I'm
Psych.
the guy that started this thing, this 2020 Power Users Group. And we have with us today, Karen, of course, as my co-host. And then Maria Stapperfenne, who has been around a while. She's actually on the 2020 Design Live Council with me, Advisory Council. We didn't get to meet because you were ill last September when we had the meetup in Montreal. So
Yes,
we haven't gotten to meet in person yet. But and then Maria has been the NKBA president back in 2015, and she runs Tewksbury Kitchens in Whitefield Station. Is that what you said?
White House Station.
White House Station,
yes.
New Jersey. At least it doesn't have township on it. If it were White House Station Township, New Jersey, that'd be a huge.
That would be a lot.
And she is just about to hit 20 years doing that. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. We're going to talk a little bit about a fun trip that she made to France. And we're also going to get to see her kitchen, which is really neat because how many times do you get to see the kitchen of a fellow designer, especially somebody who's been doing it for so long. So, so Maria, how are you?
I am great. I am so excited to be here with everybody because I love this group. This group has provided me no end to added entertainment value into my day, as well as super cool tricks and tips and things that shame my renderings, all kinds of fun, interesting things to, it's somebody that I feel like a group I belong to that doesn't make somebody's eyes glaze over when I show them what I did, and I'm all proud of it. And you guys are like, yeah.
Yeah, it is really neat. And it's funny, you talk about, we talked about before we went live, how Tewksbury Kitchens is an extension of a lumber company. And, when you have, that brings you a certain level of clientele.
Yes,
and
it does. That's exactly it.
It's sort of a higher volume. So you can't really spend a ton of time on renderings. It's not, you're not being paid as a designer to do renderings. You are providing a product and showing people what that product will look like. And I think that's something that we've already talked about on the Designer Spotlight. And I think that's something we're going to continue talking about is, the different segments of the industry that we all work in. And
that's right, because there's a lot of them and they all need to be serviced.
That's right.
People want to buy the way that they want to buy with their own personalized level of experience. And that's what still makes us kitchen and bath design professionals better than them buying it over some generic interweb feature where they take their kitchen pieces and drop them into a shopping cart.
Right. Yeah. And that can be dangerous in, in many respects, because, when you get that truck backing up to your house with that, the pallets full of cabinets that you've never seen in person, that can really start spiraling downward pretty quickly. Karen,
it becomes a very real moment.
Yep.
And I wanted to ask Maria, what actually, I would say, brought you or catapulted you into kitchen cabinets?
Long story short is I was teaching before this. So I am still a certified teacher, and I'm a music teacher. So I am a musician and a state certified educator. I have my K-12 teaching certificate here in the state of New Jersey and had a job teaching, but during the summer, you don't work in the schools, you don't get paid. So I would work with a construction crew, and I was the grunt. I was the not so dead man holding things up and all kinds of stuff at the job site. I was the dignified gopher, go get beauty washers, go get Portland cement, go get screws, go get this, go get coffee, go get lunch, and load the trucks up and back. But at the end of one of the summers, the lumberyard was opening up in my town. They were opening up a kitchen division, and they said, well, what do you want to, do you know anything about kitchens? And I rattled off a bunch of innocent factoids, and they said, we're sending you for an interview. So now I got a book and I studied and I read and I got the interview, and I asked my husband, what should we do? And he is so awesome and still to this day, incredibly supportive, my #1 fan, and said, okay. He said, I think you're ready for a new adventure. I said, but I have my tenure. And he said, we're ready for a new adventure. And we just rolled forward. And it's
Wow.
been, I've never looked back.
I'm so thrilled that you
cool.
actually did this in your life, because I think the kitchen and bath field is so exciting.
I call myself a cabinet nerd all the time, all day long, to my customers about how I love seeing their spaces. I love having them make fun spaces. And I mean, who doesn't? Isn't that the most rewarding part of this whole industry?
It is.
I told Colin we've got 3 cabinet nerds on today.
Yeah,
cabinet nerds.
Ding, 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 ding.
We could just open a catalog and just start talking about a cabinet line, couldn't we? Just
crazy
stuff.
It's
it's
I
not
love
pretty.
getting a new. I know. It's like you get a catalog for a new line. You're like, ooh, shiny, and then you break it open and you're like, okay, do they have 33-inch uppers? Yes. Okay, do they have?
It's like Christmas for us,
right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like these
wood
chip
samples.
It's like this checklist that you have. Is like, do they have this? Do they have this? Do they have this? And it's fun. It's so much fun. And then if they don't have all that stuff, then that's okay. If it fits their budget, then you have to, make it work and take, a stock line and make it kind of function like a semi-custom in some ways, so
that's
fun
the real
to do
challenge, isn't it? Trying to give people, what they want and make it fit with all the other components that are reality based. I have many interior designers come into my office and say, oh, my clients don't use the B word. And I'm like, what's the B word? And
budget.
I'm thinking, well, you know what I'm thinking, but yes, it was budget. That's not what I was thinking. Okay, truth be told, that wasn't what I was thinking at all. I'm like, ooh, the B word. We're kind of hard, right? Yeah, no, that wasn't it. I was wrong. Sorry.
I'm going to write that down. I should make a post about that.
My customers don't use the B word, and I'm like, well, that's really nice and respectful, but that wasn't what they meant.
Oh.
Is it like there is no budget?
Right. They're like, oh,
always.
I'm like, there's yeah, exactly.
I mean,
I find that for my clients, the people that come in to see me, because again, I'm part of a lumberyard. Why did I do that? Because I use that company's $40 million of purchasing power and accounting department to run the company or to run the business part. And I run the sales and the products that we carry and the policies that we make. I do all of that. So we partnered together and we just had an amazing amount of trust in one another. And I said, here, let me open this for you 20 years ago. And they said, okay.
That's great.
But don't you think that's a perfect marriage for a designer?
Absolutely, because you've got the infrastructure. You've also got the warehousing and the delivery trucks and the all of the things that you need in order to make all that work. A lumberyard has all that already because they're already delivering millwork. They're delivering doors and windows, and and they have to know how to handle that stuff. So handling cabinetry.
You mentioned something really important.
What's that?
The handling of the cabinets. Colin was just saying how they have to know how to receive them, they have to know how to stage them, they have to know how to load them, and they have to know how to deliver them.
Yep.
So basically, this has been a very good relationship for you working for a lumber company in this, because you got the financial background from the company or backing, and then they carry those huge expenses and you're able to actually design and run the kitchen department.
I'm actually able to do what I do best, which is design and sell. That's what I do best. So the company takes over for the things that are not my strong suits. And that's been the beauty of this whole partnership. My company president is actually a CPA. He's really smart, and he has made incredibly good decisions that have kept our company really doing super well, even when the economy was not so great. We didn't have to fire people during the big downturns and things like that. So he's made a lot of really great, smart decisions, but he doesn't force me to do those things because that's his area of expertise. He doesn't tell me how to do my stuff because he just trusts me to run this area of expertise, and they've been really happy. And oh my gosh, are all of you having this crazy good year that you know, the entire society has been forced inside to stare at their own four walls and wonder why they're horrible. Are you all like reaping the benefit of that?
Yeah, I think everybody is to some extent. You know, my own product involvement is not as much as it once was. So I'm not full-time selling product, but I support people that sell product, and they're all super busy. So, you know, that's something that is definitely, I think, across the board. You know, every once in a while, I think there are little pockets here and there that aren't doing quite as well. But I think for the most part, you know, people in the metropolitan and suburban areas are doing very well. And it's tough because, you know, everybody's still having supply chain issues. You know, you've got especially Karen and I were talking about appliances. You know, I have a client whose kitchen was done in June. It was completed in June. Still doesn't have a refrigerator yet. And it's weird. It's a white counter depth KitchenAid French door refrigerator. So it's a little unusual, but you know, she still has no refrigerator. I mean, she has a refrigerator, and that's the nice thing about our industry too, is, you know, as long as you're not chucking your appliances out, you know, if you need to continue using the old refrigerator, it's not the end of the world.
Right now, supposedly there's 2 million appliances on back order to one of the companies I talked to this week.
Yeah,
so
that's crazy.
That's a lot.
It's crazy. Yeah.
That is a lot.
So what made you get involved with the National Kitchen and Bath Association?
That was the only organization I found that brought us all together as an entire industry. I looked at other organizations. Nobody else was out there doing it. But they were out there trying to help everybody be the best possible professional that they can and wanted to be. No other organization was out there doing that as an entire whole industry association. So I got involved, and I just learned very quickly that the more you give, you get exponentially farther. And that it's always been in my lifetime that when you think of others and doing things for others, that you tend to, by no effort, you wind up elevating yourself. And that has been true at every turn. So I've done a lot of things with NKBA. I led NKBA. They're a great group of professionals, and they are only interested in helping all of us be the very best that we can be and we want to be. They are the ones that offer that autonomous third-party testing certification service. And so nobody else was offering, you know, authentic education-based certifications in our industry other than, you know, interior designers, but interior designers weren't really focusing on just kitchen and bath.
Right.
Yeah. I met Maria in probably 2005 or 2006. We were in New York with David Newton at a CKD CBD training class to get ready to take our test. And you were doing your CBD and I was doing my CKD. And I was just thrilled to meet you at the time.
Me too.
It was
Me
fun.
too. I remember meeting you then, and you're so excited. You were super adorable. Well, you're still super adorable, but it was wonderful. And I hope that I talked to you about great things even back then, because that's been my favorite part, is helping everybody else get to where they want to be. And that's been the funnest part of any active involvement in NKBA, including the opportunity last year to be an ambassador and go to Paris and be a trend spotter. So all of those things have been great experiences. It's opened up a whole new network of people that I don't know that I ever would have met had I not had the opportunity to be a volunteer leader for our association.
That's really cool.
I couldn't get the trend spotting article. Did you get that, Colin?
I didn't try to open it, but I'm going to do that right now.
Yeah, because I think that's exciting. I remember you posting it on Facebook, and I thought, wow, you're in Paris, and how exciting this would be.
Yeah, it was pretty fun. It was very fun. I'm not going to lie. It was a whole bunch of seeing and living there, because what we did was, instead of getting a hotel, we actually rented an apartment.
Oh, okay.
So that made it even better, because it's kind of like you're living there. And I have to admit, in Paris, I was up to a full baguette a day habit.
Wow.
Food is a love language for me. Food is a love language. So any place that you make food or do food or.
But Paris is it, right?
Oh, yeah.
Paris is
It was great.
place for food. Absolutely.
Hey, Colin, we got to go sometime.
As soon as this
field trip, let's go. Field trip. I'm ready. I'm all in.
You'll be
but it was great.
Let's get the wood-sided station wagon gassed up and start heading out east. So I have the document that Maria emailed us, which we could just show from that. So this is this year's. I'm just doing a couple of searches and see if we can. I mean, we can.
How many people were staying in the same hotel or whatever where you were at that were involved?
Again, I did an apartment, so the people that were staying there all lived there, or they were renting it for Lord only knows how long, whether they were by the week or by the month rentals. But I got an apartment for a week and a half because I went right from the Maison show into Paris Design Week. And so I was there for all of those things, and that made it really great. We timed it well, so we were able to, in 10 days, get all of that condensed.
That's so exciting.
So cool. Was it like an Airbnb type of situation?
Yes, exactly. That kind of a thing. It's called Paris sharing, and it was excellent. We had a 1-bedroom loft flat that was gorgeous. You had to like go inside one of those great big huge man doors, and then you're in a courtyard, and then your little apartment is off to the side in the back corner of the courtyard.
Okay.
So it was really fun.
So actually, Maria, you can go ahead and I think I've turned on screen sharing. You can go ahead and share your screen and show what you were.
I can't share my screen because I'm using a telephone.
I was using a phone. That's right.
But what I could do, I don't think it's going to work if I share my screen. So what I will just do is I will go over the 5 trends really quick if you wanted me to tell you that.
I can do it. You know what? I can do it. I'll open it back up.
Was retro, because retro cookware, things like that going back, even Bluetooth connected devices, things that were popular or becoming more on trend is all that electronic techno in the kitchen was designed to look like something from a long time ago. So you had like Bluetooth speakers and remote devices setting in frames that look like old-fashioned transistor radios.
I see it right here. I'm actually sharing.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm in shock.
That was one of the big things. And you can actually, I don't know if it's going to be easier for you to blow up the pictures, but I can basically give the Reader's Digest version a little paragraph that I put.
It's embedded in the document, so it's kind of.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's Microsoft Word, so I didn't know if it did that, but there you go.
Well, I'm showing it. It's like showing on my screen, but give me.
It you know, a lot of these more bespoke and luxe items, bringing the hand back into hand designed.
Okay.
So stuff like that. People were really working on trying to picture or looking for things that suggested the good old days. And when I say the good old days, that's whatever those good old days are for you,
right?
The person looking. So was it like a back to the 80s kind of a thing? Or was it a 50s kind of a vibe or something like that? There were several different time periods that were suggested. So I guess it's whatever the good old days are, you know, for you. But historically, when we look at when this retro style trend appears, it's when we as a society are generally afraid of what the future may hold. So people tend to want to be comfortable by turning around and looking at the comfort of the good old days. And that's why colors like blue and green regularly reinvent themselves during an economic downturn.
That makes so much sense.
Yep,
right,
because people are looking for comfort.
We're going back to that happier time.
There you go. Yeah, there you go. That's it. You see that these newer technology items are designed to look old-fashioned.
Yeah.
For me, going back would be 50s or 60s. What would it be for you, Colin?
It's 80s. I'm an 80s child. So my formative years were spent firmly in the 80s. So because I turned 20 in 1989. So no, I'm sorry. Yeah, I turned 20 in 1989. So, you know, my teenage years were the 80s. So anything that's 80s and you know, 80s music and stuff like that, which is a quick aside, when I was a child, stuff that was that same age was called oldies. But now 80s music is called 80s music. It's kind of funny. But anyway.
That's hilarious, but so true. Yeah, it's really true.
Is that a sink on the wall?
Yeah, it's a sink.
All the toys, I noticed that in Maison, there was an entire hall of just toys and children's items. And all of those things seem to focus on more retro things, you know, purer, more organic woven cloth being used in some of the toys and things, metal toys. For as sharp and as dangerous as we think that that could be, there was metal toys, things like that. But again, all very retro, like space age kind of based things.
Yeah,
it was
all
very
recyclable.
fun.
You can both use recycled materials and recycle the materials.
Well, the second trend was sustainability, and many people couldn't wait for the opportunity to promote that they are using recycled materials either in their processing or actually in their products. They couldn't wait to tout that. So that was one of the first things that hit you when you walked into a lot of the booths. Lots of green walls everywhere. So every booth wanted to show that kind of living wall scenario that we see more and more now.
Right. Yeah. So there's a stop plastic before it reaches the ocean. Recycled PET bottles. It looks like these were sunglasses. So that's we need to do more of that. We need to do
well, it was weird because at first it seemed like plastic was the enemy unless you're using it to make something else.
Right.
So there's vendors touting the benefits of glass and metal straws. I saw a set of reusable chopsticks that slides into a spoon, and a cleverly designed containers that you could bring your meals and bento boxes and your accessories pretty much anywhere you wanted to.
That's so cool.
It was really neat.
I really love this stuff.
Yeah, some of the wood things were great, and a lot of them are created using like the tree roots, which people said were disposable. You know, so they're trying to recycle and reuse every part. And shopping bags, who knew there was a market for shopping bags? But apparently in other areas of the world, people shop more local than we do here.
I never thought of that. That makes,
you know what I mean? Such a market for shopping bags because people carry things everywhere in other areas of the world. People on bicycles and bikes, and it was a huge market for shopping bags. Wouldn't have ever guessed.
Wow.
We're so used to driving everywhere, and that's not true in all countries.
Well, and I don't know about you guys, but in New Jersey, there was just an order signed that single-use paper and plastic bags will be outlawed. And I know that that's coming, but that was just passed. But living in a metropolitan area, many places, especially in Europe, they don't have disposable bags. And walking, biking, or public transportation are way more commonly used. So shopping bags are a huge item. So think about that. Color, texture, tons of it. That's the third trend. So rolling into color and texture, that fabric that they were calling out last year that we were seeing everywhere was velvet. Lots of velvets. Don't be afraid to put velvet into your stuff. It was crazy how much it was everywhere. It is the in fabric and was everywhere on the show floor. Furnishings, clothing, gifts, decor, even in kitchens. Don't laugh. It was there.
I can believe it. Yeah. Velvet was really big. I would say, well, 50s, 60s, 70s.
Color combinations, the biggest color combination. Apparently the French love teal. They've been into teal forever, and they used to pair it with like a navy blue. And then what happened was last year that changed. So it's still teal, but it was paired with mustard yellow,
right there,
or that light gold color. And so I tried to include several pictures because I saw it everywhere on the show floor. Everywhere I turned around, it was teal and gold, teal and gold, teal and yellow, teal and yellow. So that was a huge thing. And the yellow is definitely more of a mustardy kind of a yellow.
That is,
and I'm actually seeing that here now with teal and yellow. I wasn't seeing it in the States when I came back last fall, but this year I'm seeing that color combination a lot of places, which is very surprising to me.
I think it's always interesting how the fabrics and the things we buy change from year to year with the New York Color Council, and then cabinet companies follow. It seems like it's like a trend. And so what you're talking about really is the trend is hit into the United States now, those colors.
When does the Color Council meet, and how do people find out the results of what their findings are? Or do they just assess what has been? I thought they more projected what was coming.
I think they project. I'm not quite sure. I've done classes on what they present in the council and how it affects our industry, especially. Do you know what I mean, with cabinets? And they project the colors, and it does. It's interesting how we have those trends, because right now the Sherwin-Williams color of the year is that very muted aqua color, isn't it? Sort of that teal, but it's just a little bit taken down in shade.
Sherwin-Williams color of the year is Urbane Bronze. So
well, then somebody else has the, I think it's called AG.
Somebody else has an, yes, that aqua color. I did see that email come across.
Yeah. So I think that our industry is so affected by all of this. It's really exciting that you brought this back.
It was interesting to see that it's happening now. For the fourth trend was organic. That was the other thing that I found, that indoor items attempted to look like outdoor items, and lots of that. So you had that in fabrics, lighting, furniture, shades, lots of booths. And we already talked about the fact that everybody had that living wall. Work environment showed a trend towards moving away from that playful foosball table and Google model, and moved to more of a Zen and wellness office environment, which also included office balls for seating, a treadmill at a working desk, and they also had quiet pods, which allowed you to have like a private meeting in a little pod, where, you know, we used to call them phone booths, you know, now they're little pods. But yeah, hey, it's what they are.
Don't forget the cone of silence. Were you ever get Smart Fan?
Yeah. The cone of silence.
Of course, it never worked right. It never worked right, but it was 60s actually, Karen. Yeah, you probably never watched that show.
I did too.
Oh my gosh. Yes, of course she did.
Well, she always tells me she has no sense of humor, so I figured she didn't watch something that was funny. See, she does.
Oh, she does.
I'm a Doctor Who fan too.
Yep. So just in an isolating space. So you'd have sound, or you'd have sound isolating, lots of metal, lots of wood, lots of cotton. One notable brand exception that I printed in the report is that in the children's area, they had a Ty. You remember Ty, the Beanie Baby people? Yeah. They had a booth with fly girls in it. And these young girls that were dancing, they rivaled the KBIS Kohler fly girls in their booth. That's what it rivaled, in my opinion. It was kind of neat.
That's neat.
And the last thing I noticed, the last trend that I spotted was functional art. And that was really sophisticated pieces that you use every day, done in a much more artful, boutique, luxe fashion, more of a uniquity. And some were from famous design houses, like I think I'm showing some silverware from Bugatti. Oh, you're showing actually the slide right now of the chess pieces, and each one of the pieces represent iconic buildings and architecture from different global cities like New York, Dubai, Paris, London, and they're very cute. It was adorable to see all of this, and people were playing it, and it was kind of fun to see all of that.
The Bugatti.
I love the forks.
Right, and all the color that were added in. So there were very fancy high-end design houses doing things as common as flatware, but making it very chic. So you could see things like that. That gold, we saw that brush gold, but we also still saw polished gold defining luxe products, including the tableware, the lighting, cabinet hardware, accessories. And when you put all this together with that velvet from those fabric trends, these sort of typified most of those high style design spaces that I was able to see. So it was really fun.
Wow.
I love velvet. I can imagine this in my mind. It would be gorgeous.
I'm just a texture person. Like I'll walk through, some of my time is spent in a flooring store. So I'll just walk through and literally touch everything just because I love, tactile things, and velvet is one of those things that's just so tactile. You want to just keep rubbing your hands over it. And it's, I love texture. Texture is so much fun.
Are you all seeing texture coming back in the request for cabinet finishes?
Yeah.
I'm in Pennsylvania, so not so much.
Yeah,
Well,
I'm
the mat,
definitely seeing people turn away from everything painted and want and desire more textural elements in what they're doing today and right now. And I'm still so pleased to see that, when I turn around and I look at my own kitchen, that it's still relevant with all of these trends, even though I did it 15 years ago.
speaking of which,
Speaking of
want to
which,
give us the tour of
sure,
your,
yeah.
you keep segueing beautifully. You're really good at this.
And
You keep
I have
segueing
I have
beautifully
to
into,
tell
wait, I
you
gotta
that this
stop
is my
sharing my
very
screen though.
first Facebook Live, so I'm nervous.
Yeah,
I'm
right.
doing the shake thing.
Sure.
Look,
I
see
have
that
to have
part?
her back. What do you think, Colin?
Okay, hang on. I'm going to turn around and give you all. I'm going to flip my camera. There we go. So now you are looking at my kitchen. It is a bowling alley. Here's my workspace. So you're seeing me with my cup of coffee. It's almost like a religion. And me working at my kitchen table today, because I figured I would do this not in my office so that I could limit the amount of interruptions. So
Right.
this is my kitchen, which is in a 10-foot by 24-foot room. It is basically a bowling alley. I tell people that all the time. You see that I do have an island though. So I could have put cabinets on this wall, but I really needed a good flow because my dining room, which is on the other side of this wall, seats 30.
Oh, wow.
You see, I have not a lot of the stuff in here now, but normally this has big, huge amount of tables in here and seating for 30. But back to my kitchen. So this was my eat-in spot.
Yeah, I love the island.
Love my island. I love my island too. Accessibility on both sides. So I have the doors can open on both sides so people can put leftovers away. I didn't go quite to the ceiling because I needed to downplay that this house is 150 plus years old.
Wow.
And I needed to downplay the fact that nothing is really all that horribly level.
Yeah.
So I have built-in refrigerator. I have 3 ovens right there because why not? Because why not?
When you're feeding 30 people.
Yeah, well, but see, here is the party oven right here.
Right.
Oh, wow.
The big party oven. Yeah,
wow.
baby, because that's what you want to see is the ability to put 6 pans of steam tray table food in an oven at the same time.
Yep.
Woohoo!
What brand is the range?
This range happens to be a Bertazzoni, and it is a brand new range. Bertazzoni people are wonderful. They are actually coming out to double check this range because I'm nervous that there is an issue with the control panel right here. Sometimes it does some weird things, and I'm thinking it might be demonically possessed. So they're coming out to take a look at it today. And
they're bringing a priest.
I don't know whether we're going to do an exorcism, a repair, or what, but we'll figure it out.
They probably have them on speed dial. They're Italian, so they probably have a good one on speed dial. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you have the exorcism, let us know. We want to come.
Yep, my countertops are Corian. So yes, I am an old-fashioned girl, but I do like my quiet matte finishes. I
hate that Corian went away. I hate it.
I love my Corian countertops. I love them every day.
I love that. Again, tactile. I'm a very tactile person, so it's warm and soft, and
it is.
And there's some
not reflective. It's not highly reflective, and I have the integrated sink. See that?
It's all about setting expectations with people, and it's like, look, I think there was a backlash when people were selling it as an indestructible surface, and yes, it's indestructible, but there's some maintenance involved. And people would be like, oh, well, it's not indestructible. It's like, it is. It's so people didn't set expectations properly. So I think that's why that and the huge influx of cheap granite into the country, made it so that it wasn't as relevant. But that is a gorgeous color.
I love
it's chocolate. It is actually a master brand color. It is chocolate on oak. And I did this 15 years ago, which is kind of surprising, and it's still relevant, which is really kind of cool. But see, now you're getting to see the 2 goddesses of my kitchen, my wine and my coffee. Because after food, wine, and coffee, I'm good. I'm just good.
Yeah, and that time, you know, between where you switch over from coffee to wine, it's you know, it's flexible, right?
It really is.
Depending on stress level and the day, and
Yep. Yep. And you're seeing my poor lemon tree, the fact that I have a brown thumb. This was a Meyer lemon bush because I was trying to make my own limoncello. Here's my lemon. That's the lemon that I got. And I didn't pick it. It actually just fell off the tree. So it fell off the bush, but I can't do anything about it. My husband wants me to get rid of this. I can't look. There's still a leaf on it. It's still alive.
oh,
Yeah.
I can't get rid of this. I can't just throw it away. It's got one pathetic, sad, and sorry leaf. And if anybody wants to contact me and bring this thing back to life, it's such a nice little plant. They can go ahead and have fun with that. But there you go.
So if any of the 3.7 people that are watching right now
Woohoo!
Have I just made that number up. I don't know. You can have 0.7.
Did you really?
But, yeah.
That's hilarious.
I don't think we have any fractional people in the group.
No fractions. None of that.
But yeah, if you have any suggestions for Maria, please pass them along.
Just feel free and let me know so I don't kill this poor thing and the last leaf doesn't come tumbling down. I love your group.
Huh?
Sorry?
You're a kitchen designer, not a herbologist or whatever they are.
Damn it, Jim.
Definitely not.
Damn it, Jim. I'm a kitchen designer, not a botanist.
Botanist, that's the word.
That's it.
We were talking earlier, and I love what you said, that you're a designer for the common man.
Yeah, I recently, I had to kind of look at myself and accept that is, I guess now that I'm old, I can cherry pick the niches that I want to work with. And that seems to be my favorite working niche is I look at myself as a designer that, you know, everybody deserves good design. And I consider myself the designer of the common man. I don't do ultra high-end designs. I have had the opportunity to do some of those, but they were so stress-filled and so ultra challenging. And I guess maybe it's because I just don't have my toe in that ultra high-end luxury market every day. I just don't feel comfortable. And maybe it's all egocentric because I can't get out of my own head or my own pockets maybe. But
yeah,
I just feel like that's my favorite thing to do.
Yeah, you were sharing with us that you were just invited recently to do something to do with high end.
Yeah, I was invited to join an ultra high-end luxury design panel, and I had to respectfully decline because when I sat and looked at myself in the mirror, I thought, you know, I looked at my designs and I'm like, yeah, they're nice, but I would never classify what I do as ultra high-end. It's not uber luxe. It's not that. I mean, there are people that I made recommendations to that do that kind of work, and it's beautiful. Friends of mine like Richard Anishkevitz and Peter Salerno and some other designers that I know that do that kind of, you know, ultra high-end work that, you know, it's really its own niche, but it's just not my niche. So I felt like I needed to respectfully decline and leave room for the people that really do that sort of thing. Yeah. I'm pleased that and honored that they picked me and that they asked me, but I just don't feel like I fit the criteria of that.
I kind of love that you said that because I had to think about a month ago about, you know, what is my niche? You know, you think about as a designer, really, where do you want to be? And that's exactly how I felt too. I am the designer for just your average homeowner. I'm not, you know, I really don't know that I want to walk into a super high end. What do you think, Colin?
Yeah, no, I agree. You know, where there's little to no involvement by the homeowner, and sometimes you don't know who the homeowner is because you're dealing with typically an interior designer or something like that. And yeah, that's not my cup of tea. I like to, you know, be face to face with the person that I'm working with. And I know that there is some ultra high end where that does happen, but it's rare, isn't it? Aren't you usually just another cog in the wheel when you're doing the ultra high end stuff? And you know.
Yeah, I love where this industry has led me, and I feel like everything that I've done and every decision that I've made has led me to the point where I am now, which is actually teaching, instructing, and bringing more living in place items into designs as more of like a standard rather than a specialty.
Right.
Because when you look at some of the things that are classified as, oh, that's what you do when somebody's handicapped or preparing for that, it's just so untrue. Try to think of anybody that doesn't benefit from these things.
Yeah.
And
Well,
so they need to be more commonplace. Who doesn't? Do you benefit from a curbless shower?
No. Yeah, of course.
Right.
Yeah,
Is there anybody that doesn't benefit from a
No.
curbless shower? My dog benefits from the curbless shower.
Somebody who's really, really, I guess,
didn't
messy
share with,
and
yeah.
leaves their hand shower like facing the entry to the shower, and like, I mean, but they're,
There's
they're
my
just messy.
coworker.
Can
Hello,
he
coworker.
come to visit?
He's totally deaf, by the way. He's incredibly deaf. He's 11 years old. Yes, you're looking at my sparkly slippers again, but there you go. But there he is. That's
What's his name?
11-year-old coworker, Cash.
Cash.
Oh, so cute.
He comes to the office every day. He doesn't move. He's highly food motivated, but hey, who isn't?
So every day you can say, I'm bringing cash.
Yep, every day I can say that. So there you go.
That's so cool.
Well, Maria has her clip certification from the NKBA. I got the cap, so I went.
I just have one quick question, just only because I was, in the mid 2000, the late teens, the early teens.
Okay.
I was very focused on. I was a showroom manager, and in a high a high volume type of retailer. So I kind of missed out. But when did universal design morph into living in place?
Universal design made it seem like people were less than.
Okay.
So it's really a paradigm shift. So rather than making things that limit everybody, why not make things that just include everybody?
Right.
And like going back to the simple example of a barrier-free shower, who doesn't win with that?
Right.
A young child wins. So that's what it did. It's like all good design. All good design never stagnates. Design evolves constantly. That's why we're all still in business, because things change all the time. But that's where I think that design went from universal design, which meant only doing things for people to make sure that those with limited mobility challenges can reach, move, access, whatever, to the fact that now anybody should be able to do these things. And so I feel that that's what it's evolved to. So it's evolved to living in place. Will it stay there forever? I don't know. But I think it's going to, I think, in my opinion, that living in place is where it's at for right now and for the foreseeable future.
Right. Well, I think that, the whole, the baby boomer generation is driving everything that we do, because they're the largest generation that has come about in the last 100 years, say. And as the baby boomer generation starts to go into more and more into long-term care and assisted living and all that stuff, that's, I think what's teaching us about living in place, and we're benefiting from that. And does that make sense?
It does. They're also one of the only organizations, and that's why the NKBA partnered with them, because NKBA, one of their things about their mission and their goals is teaching about safety. No other organization was out there talking about safety.
So I think the big thing for us as kitchen designers, if say we have to go into a nursing home, you're going to spend at least $10,000 a month. And being a certified agent, or I'm Capture Clip, then we can help these people so they can stay in their homes and not have to go to a nursing home. So they can take that money and they can invest it in their house, which they get a return on. Because when you go into a nursing home, there's no return at the end.
No, there isn't. And again, there's nobody that doesn't win or benefit from the things that living in place makes you re-aware of. So if you haven't thought about it, I think that, some people could make a whole business out of it. I definitely say that I have used all the living in place things that I have learned to enhance my business, who I am, and what I offer to my customers. And I think it's just one of those other things that you can do that help give you more added value to whoever you're talking about.
Right. And I think the goal is seamlessness. You want it to be seamless. You want somebody to be able to, it's sad to say that somebody passes on, but somebody who's had a good living in place design done in their home passes on. And then somebody 30, 40 years younger than them comes along and starts living in the same house. It doesn't feel like it was designed for somebody who was, who was limited mobility, or who had, it's nice to be able to just come in and just start living there. And I think that's what living in place really means, is it means a seamless ability to exist in a space, whether you're 90 or whether you're 29. You should be able to benefit from the space, or 9, right? Or 9 months. I don't know. Not a lot of 9-month-olds are going to be going into a curbless shower, but
but your space works for you, right? Instead of you just working to be able to access your spaces,
right?
It just takes away all the stigma and the things that we've all grown up with. For example, why do we put the outlet at 18 inches above the floor? Because that's where we've always let the electrician put it.
Right.
Why? There's no code that says it has to be there.
Right.
It doesn't. It really doesn't. So put it 24 inches above the floor. Why do you need to bend all the way down to your ankles to plug in and unplug the vacuum?
Right.
Could you bend a little less? Would your dizziness be served better by that? Yeah, any of that. So there's just, it's all win-win-win, and those are my favorite things ever. I love things where everybody wins, and everybody wins with this. So it's a no-brainer.
Right.
But that's very small changes. Moving an electrical outlet up 6 inches, using a different type of handle for your faucets.
Right.
Everything is changing so fast. I always say that our technology is going so fast, I don't know if I can keep up with it.
Right. When I teach the CLIP courses, because outside of Louis Delaware and Eric Listu, the two co-founders of the Living in Place Institute, I am the only other one, and I feel so honored that they trust me enough to sort of deliver their baby, if you will, that teaches the certification course. And again, as a teacher, I'm sure that experience came in really handy, but they allow me to present that information. And every time I teach a course, the information is enhanced and enriched and has changed and has evolved. Because again, all good design evolves, and so does what used to be universal design and is now living in place and will continue to be living in place until it becomes something else. And hopefully that's just, living normally.
Right. So cool. So Maria has one more, unless Karen, did you have anything that you want to add about living in place? Because I just want to talk about Maria's other passion that we haven't talked about yet. So
I have another passion.
I'm going to embarrass the heck out of her.
I have another passion.
Okay, I will stop there. I just wanted to play a clip of you singing. That's your band, the Denigrators.
It is. I love my boys.
And that is that's you.
That's what I do for fun.
Yeah.
Yes.
But you design kitchens for fun. So how can you
I know, right?
Do you love what you do, Maria?
I really do. I'm very lucky. Not many people can say that, but I do. From my previous job as a music teacher, that I still am a musician, and this is still how I get my yayas out. And as my kids have gotten older, I remember being part of this band, because I've been with the Denigrators for 10 years now. And I remember it in the beginning, it was because I wanted to sing songs that were not sung by a purple dinosaur or a blue dog.
Yeah, and for me it was 4 guys in primary colors from Australia.
There you go. I remember them. Aren't they the Wiggles?
Yes.
See? Of course. So no, I love the arts. I love the fine arts. I've been doing theater and music since I was a kid. I love everything about it. It's great fun. It's a great expression. It's a great way to just have fun and do things. And performing live is probably one of my favoriteest things in the world. And I can kick some mean butt on a karaoke night.
I'm sure
Were
you
you
can.
creative as a child?
What's that?
Sorry.
Were you creative as a child?
I don't think I understand.
Well, in other words, one of the things we talked about, Colin, was the fact of as children, a lot of us were I love to write, which is really strange. Don't write now, but I love to draw and I love doing pictures and, and did you do that when you were a kid, Colin? Like have passions that led to design?
What did you guys do?
Well, mine was music. I was a band nerd, so I was a band nerd right up through high school, and then I stopped, and I regret it. I regret it every day since then that I stopped completely. I was in chorus. I was in marching, concert, and jazz band, and I miss it every day still. And life happens, and life happens, and it's never too late, right? So,
Never too late.
I did classical music. I sang classically, which is hilarious.
That's not.
So did I. It's awesome. I sang with the Light Opera Company here in town.
Makes sense.
See, I'm thinking more and more that we need to get a Zoom band together. I am not joking. I am 100% serious.
What do you play?
And I haven't played. I mean, my embouchure is gone. I played trumpet.
I was going to say, you said embouchure. It's got to be a brass player.
Yeah, and then I went through I braces, so I had to go to a larger mouthpiece. So I went to baritone horn and then tuba, and then I was tuba and sousaphone through high school. So I'm the oompa guy. That's all
I
I've
love
ever
that.
learned. But yeah, are you keyboards?
I am. I am keyboards. I am everything but string instruments. So I have saxophone, I have woodwinds, I have clarinet, I have flute, I have all of those things that I play. And I know how to play string instruments, but I really stink at them.
Yeah.
I'm really bad.
Can't be good at everything. I mean,
you can't be. You can't be good at everything. So you gotta take the little bits that you can.
Yeah.
So
Karen, did you play an instrument at all, or was it just voice?
No.
Just voice. Yeah. So
and I have dyslexia reading music. I'm okay with reading words, but my vocal coach or professor said that I had dyslexia reading music, which I've never heard of before.
Yeah, well.
And I was in total agreement. So everything that I did was total memorization of operas and classical works, and it was crazy because there's so much to learn in them. It was just like, and then it was different languages, so it was really quite humorous.
Karen, I found out more cool things about you every day. You're awesome.
She is. She just doesn't know it.
Well, we're here to tell you. We're here to tell you.
So, actually, we could do a karaoke night.
And that'd be fun.
We could try that.
Oh, there you go.
Well, it's funny because my friend Nicole and I have been trying to get a podcast up and running, and the theme is super cool. We call it the Kitchen and Bath Designer Lounge. So wouldn't that be a great extension of it to have a karaoke night? So I don't know. Stay tuned.
Okay, so you tell me the date, and I'm going to make you guys all be there.
I'm going to figure out how I'm going to do it technically first.
I'm the organizer.
Yes, you are.
I brought Colin into this, didn't I?
Yeah, I wouldn't say you dragged me. I thought it was a great idea.
No, you wanted to come.
And yeah, it's because
I am so grateful that you guys put this whole power users group together. I have to tell you, because I love it every day. I learn something new. I'm jealous that my renders aren't half as cool as what yours are, even though I'm on live, even though I'm using the new render engine, that I still can't come up with stuff that looks as badass as what you guys put out.
Yeah, but a lot of us spend a lot of time, and that's a subject that will be coming up. I Tony Johnson and a couple of other people and I have been working on for second year in a row a project for 2020. They are the corporate sponsors for the NKBA professional design competition, and they reverse engineer and render the completed spaces of the winners in 2020. And we all know the winners right now for 2021, but nobody else does. So,
wow.
And that's why I can't really share the renderings or anything like that, but
Okay.
it's what I term extreme rendering. And it's something that is a labor of love to do in 2020. But that's, you know, that's something that's upcoming when it has to be after KBIS. So late winter is when we'll discuss that more. But you know, this was started as a labor of love, and you talk about, you know, your career, Maria, getting you to this point, you know, decisions that you've made, and quite honestly, making a decision to go looking for a 2020 Facebook group was like, you know, at the time I was on Facebook more than I am now on a regular basis. And I said, huh, there isn't one. How weird is that? So I had friends and coworkers that, you know, had questions, and some were on support, some weren't on support. And there was a forum, what's called a Delphi forum, that was started by a gentleman named Kevin Roberts, who,
yes.
Okay, so you know Kev's forum. So
yes.
I went to Kevin,
and that's where I got my underground catalog.
There you go. So
that I went still to him, use.
I said, hey, would you mind if I started a Facebook group and invited the members of your group? And he's like, yeah, no problem. So I did. And that was, you know, 4 or 5 friends of mine and probably 8 or 10 people from his forum were the seed for it. And we're at 1,800. So, you know, it's just amazing how it grew. I got to meet, you know, I got invited to a 2020 event 2 years ago, a year and a half ago. Their U.S. main office is right outside of Boston, so it was a short drive for me. I'm in southern New Hampshire. So I got to meet the CEO. I got to meet Vanessa, who's the global training manager. I got to meet one of the trainers who's not awesome with them anymore.
I love that girl.
I love Vanessa. Yeah, and we have a lot of same tastes. We both love mid-century modern. And anyway, so I don't know if she's ever seen this show. I'm gonna have to bring her on. That's what, Karen, we're gonna have to get Vanessa.
There you go. Vanessa's gotta be
as
on.
a guest. Yes.
I didn't know you loved mid-century modern.
I love mid-century modern. I love Frank Lloyd Wright. Anyway, so you know, they said, yeah, we were thinking about starting a group, but we never really got around to it. So they had their trainers start telling people at trainings so it's just kind of organically grown. And, you know, now here we are, 2.5 years later. So it's been a lot of fun. It's a lot of work, but it's worth it. And and I got to meet you, Maria. We never would have met otherwise. And even though we didn't get to meet in Montreal, got to meet now. So
I'm blowing kisses to both of you guys.
We will get to,
I am your biggest fan.
Oh, thank you. But
I have my Colin O'Neill like fan club card. I'm gonna get it laminated.
Oh, that's okay. So cute.
Enough.
That's so cute.
Enough. Stop. I can't take any more.
I am.
Well, thank you so much for being here.
I'll have to make one.
You know what? KBIS 2021. I'm sorry, 2022 karaoke. We're going to have to find a place to do karaoke at KBIS 2022. Maybe we can get 2020 to put something together. Wouldn't that be cool?
Sponsor a karaoke booth?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that would be fun, wouldn't it? I bet everybody would come.
Do a little No Doubt, and do a little I don't know, what else? What else is in your repertoire?
We will figure it out. We will come up with something.
We'll
come up with some Tom Petty and Stevie Nicks. It'll be you and me in that booth.
Perfect.
Yep.
Well, thank you so much. I want to just keep going. I really do. I just want to keep
going, have to go because I have another meeting to go to, but I so appreciate that you guys invited me. I have had tons of fun. You got to see the real me, the real workspace, the real kitchen, and I hope it wasn't too much for anybody. There you go.
Yeah, I think they will really appreciate it. So thank you again. And we'll see you around.
Right on.
And,
thanks so much for
I'm
everything.
just going to stop the stream and then we'll just say goodbye. So